G'day people, this is Patrick Schutte, the author of Time Design. I know that solving the timetable is usually one of the most important, well, it is the most important part of the timetable. Capturing and all of that takes a bit of time. You'll spend most of your time in the layout, setting up everything, but it's the actual solving that takes the most time. For this situation, I'm going to use a sample timetable. Where your time design is installed, there is a folder called samples. You can copy it across into your uh, my documents, and there you're able to get a few different timetables to test and to play around with. I'm going to use a demo high school program, the original demo one. It's already got the miscellaneous periods created, the master timetable. And you're going to copy the master timetable to all. Make sure that there's no computer generated ones. And you just verify everything is working fine. The highest priority is to make sure that you get a solution. Nothing else matters. Create a solution. So the first thing you're going to do, once you've got your timetable, solve it, verify the information, and choose solve it. I've actually made it slightly slower, but more sure, like I taught, slow but certain. I'll go through and I'll make sure it can grab any possible solution that is there as well it improves. Slowly increase. This will also give you a bit of a benchmark how long it takes you roughly to solve just a blank timetable. And I'm just waiting for the last one. And sometimes it can seem to take forever, but there's a solution, 40 seconds. So I've got a benchmark. Now I can save that as solution number 1. Clear out computer generated entries. I can now start creating my criteria. Create the need to have criteria first. The nice to have can be prioritized from 1 through to 10, and they can be fitted in afterwards. The most important is, let's assume in this case, Elvis Presley is the headmaster and he needs his mornings for admin. So you're going to create that. If there's a teacher that can only work part-time and is not available on Fridays, you can block those. Those are the need-to-haves. Once you've got the need-to-haves again, save it as test number 2 or whatever you want. Just don't overwrite your existing solution. Validate that all the information is right and choose solve it again. Now our benchmark was roughly about 40 seconds. Give or take a few minutes both ways. But the main thing is at least we've got a reasonable idea where we're meant to stand. As we can see, it's slowing down a bit, but it still seems to be climbing. So we're still within reason. And we know that we've got a solution in 40 seconds. In other words, if this is going to take like about 5 minutes or so, possibly it means that there's something that we need to adjust. We're still there, as you can see, it's past the 40 seconds, but still busy climbing. And that's because we now added in that extra criteria. Every bit of criteria that you add in, every constraint will unfortunately increase the solving time for the timetable. We're there on a minute and a half, going on 2 minutes, well, going on a minute and a quarter. It's still a matter of waiting to see if it's going to complete. Something like this, I've had timetables take over 4 hours, sometimes even overnight, to solve just for one little timetable. So, worst case scenario, you can leave it running, go to bed, come back the next day, and if it's still not producing a solution, it means it will never really produce a solution. I'm just going to stop this here for the time being, instead of wasting our time. Go back to your groups, clear out the computer generated, and I'm just going to assume that the teacher is available on the Fridays. Clear, but obviously that means that I need to rethink my strategy, possibly what her periods are, and possibly get someone else to teach if it means that she cannot solve, the program becomes unsolvable if she works on Fridays. I can go across to subjects, choose mathematics, maybe first thing in the morning. People don't want to learn mathematics. Block that. And maybe the last thing, they're a bit lazy in the afternoons. Block that. Physics, maybe I want them just to have physics before break so that they can go for a shower. So I can block that there. Block that period off. And maybe even after school, then they can still go and have a shower. And let's see if we can get a timetable now. Check the information. We're still not getting any complaints. Try and solve it. And it's going to once again take even longer to produce a solution because we've added in even greater constraints. As what we see that it's not going to work, so it means that we must now go take that constraint out or reduce that constraint slightly until we create a solution, and then go back and add in our next constraint. Possibly I blocked it too tight because it's still not climbing higher than 1389. I can possibly leave it overnight and see if it's going to work, but just pushing for time here. I'm going to stop it here. Copy master all to all. That just clears everyone out. Which actually it shouldn't because I had it protected. Yes, as you can see, under copy, protect blocked periods. Unclick here, copy master to all. Now all the blocked periods are also cleared out, which means that Mr. Presley is cleared out as well. But put your basic constraints in first that you require. The computer room might not be available on those days. Block that off. Some teachers like to start school or like to have an extra cup of coffee or do their admin work or whatever first thing in the morning. Block them off. But then, as I say, block them off as when it's a nice to have, not a need to have. Always create the most important stuff first. Always add in your most important constraints first. After that, slowly reduce it. Once you've validated everything, you can try and solve it. If you're still not getting a solution, for example, I'm just going to open up another one to give you a better example. Where was I? Clear computer generated, check information, solve it. You'll see that one there. It'll solve up to about 874, 876, but it just doesn't want to do the rest. What happens is that sometimes it just can't get a double period next to each other. If I leave it long enough, it very likely would get a double period next to each other and produce a solution. But to speed things up, I'm going to increase non-contiguous periods. That essentially allows me to have a period split, one in the morning, one later on during the course of the day or whatever. That way I get a solution immediately. I can solve that, save that, and then leave it as 0, clear out the computer entries, and physically try and solve it again and see if that's going to work. Unresolved slots means that you want at least a maximum of 2, for example, 2 slots per day or so. But sometimes there might be a slot available on another day, but that one particular day is full. So by setting that up over there and enabling it, possibly that might be able to produce a solution. Usually these are left off until you're absolutely certain that you're not getting any further. If you cannot get any further, then maybe increase your unconstrained slots first. That way at least they're still getting their 2 periods a day or whatever the case is, even though it's not a combined double. But once, as I say, the most important, every time you create a solution, save it, add in the next level of constraint, save it. If that constraint doesn't produce a solution, take that constraint out or reduce that constraint and try the following constraint until you can create a solution with as many constraints as possible, even though some of them are relaxed. I hope this will assist you with the solving of your timetables. All the best, take care and good luck. Thank you for listening to me.